Coin drop. Screen flash. The high score. Boss laugh.
Thumb sore, same fight. Lost track of the time all night. Snacks gone, eyes red. Still shouting one more instead. Distracted gamers, press start. Button mashing from the heart. Round one, game on. We get hit, go harder. Distracted gamers, press start.
Baby punched it in, baby punched it in.
Oh,
Is that how that song goes?
I don't. Maybe. Why not?
Domestic violence.
Oh.
Is this a podcast? No one knows. Welcome
It's something.
to the DG Podcast, episode 112. With me, Ross and Jason. Silver is mega sick.
The kaiju monster may not make it. We'll see.
Well,
And neither will the major metropolis where she is being ill.
Yeah. Whatever giant stadium she's using as a toilet is just never going to be usable again.
let's be honest. They're not going back to Chicago.
Oh.
It is the DG Podcast. Before we get into any of the big drama and massive discussions we've got planned today, we just barely, or at least the other two, just barely watched the Resident Evil trailer. Ross had negative noises. Ross, what don't you like?
Well, because I seem to remember when Zach Kreger was first being talked about with this film, this adaptation, if you will.
Right.
He was saying things like, and I went and double checked to make sure I wasn't hallucinating, and I wasn't. He said some confusing things. He's like, yeah, we're aiming more for like a Resident Evil 2 or 3. But it adheres more. Yeah, but it adheres more to the tone of 4. Hey, Rhett, do you know what's in this trailer and apparently in this film that makes no sense if you're making Resident Evil 2?
What?
There's like smartphones and like modern cars, and so
I suppose he'd argue that it's like modernizing or whatever time setting. I mean, if you're a big Resident Evil lore fan and you're adhering to what the story of Resident Evil, this looks like it has nothing to do with Resident Evil.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even because the lore of Resident Evil is
bad
retarded
and confusing and inaccurate sometimes. And...
Yeah, like Resident Evil is just a ridiculous B movie made into a video game.
Yeah.
They always start grounded, and by the end, you're you're either punching a boulder or using a missile launcher to kill a giant mutant, or like it goes completely off the rails. Right?
DMX comes and tries to kill you.
It happens, yes. And so like that's whatever. But also, like, the tone of 4 doesn't have the tone of 4 at all.
No, it doesn't have a tone of 4. Now, the only thing I will say is it looks scary.
Yeah, I mean, weirdly enough, had it not been named Resident Evil, you know what, I'll probably see that at some point.
It looks like a creepy movie.
Yeah, if I am, somewhere with a movie theater and I'm with my girlfriend, I will probably watch that, because we like watching the horror film on occasion. But... it doesn't look much like Resident Evil to me. Which is... like... I mean, they did the Resident Evil 2, but not from Leon or whoever's perspective. It's like, yeah, it's called Resident Evil Outbreak. And you could have just done that, but they... and I'm fine with the Arclay Mountain thing, too, but, like, this doesn't feel much like that. Is the grievance that
they're taking it more hyper-serious and maybe moving away from the OG Resident Evil... sort of tone or setting or lore, because even the OG films were just ridiculous. And
those were Resident Evil in name only. I mean, those.
Well, right, agreed. So taking it hyper serious and leaning into the guy that did weapons isn't. I mean, it's a reboot, if anything.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a smart choice. It will probably make money, depending on how much they made it for, as is always the case on this podcast. But I don't know. Like, I'd like it better if it wasn't like, just don't have it be about Resident Evil. I don't care. Especially because, like, are you telling me this asshole's going to get to the bottom of, like, the Umbrella, like, compound in the middle of Raccoon City? Yeah, like, I don't... It's fine. Just call it a horror movie with zombies, and it'd be fine.
Will it be horror movie with whatever spooky stuff, and at the end of it, he picks up an envelope with the Umbrella logo on it?
I mean, if they're smart, that's as much as they'll do. Like, because weirdly enough, the tone that it reminded me of more was Seven.
7?
Although not quite as gross. Well, yeah, you show up at an abandoned place, and things aren't what they seem, and it's awful, but, like, just not as gross and icky. But, I mean, 4 has that thing, too, where you show up in a place that should be normal, and there's worm stew on the stove, and, like, oh, there's corpses, and, like, just... Anyway.
Yeah, you know, I could see a 7, 8-ish, because parts of 8 sort of, where you're just in some southern middle of nowhere house, and the family's gone spooky monster.
Yeah. I loved the Baron Harkonnen in the sewer in the trailer.
Yeah, the mega fat man sitting in the sewer.
My residence, my evil.
This is my evil residence, everybody. Oh, that's where they got the name.
Oh. I don't know. I'm torn. Like, on one hand, if it wasn't called Resident Evil, yeah, I'll watch that. Cool. On the other hand, Jesus, it's not very Resident Evil.
I like the spooky limbs coming out of the impossibly dark doorway.
Yeah, and also, like, what is this supposed to be? And I think I heard somewhere that they're focusing less on the zombies and more on, like, I think he said T-virus mutants, which is incorrect, but whatever.
Once again, lore is questionable when it comes to this film.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, again, don't mention no viruses. Just have it be mutant monsters and zombies. That's fine. Totally fine. So anyway, The Whitest Kid You Know guy is making what looks to be a well-made movie. But, you know, just don't call it Resident Evil. Fuck.
Good times. Well, we have an absurd amount of things to talk about. Ross has been diving into the research. I've been diving into the research. A lot of drama.
I helped.
And Ross helped. Well, we are going to start out this podcast with the banner headline here and talking about Japan. Now, let's head back into the before 4 time. Back when things were simpler and more propagandized and controlled. Back before Elon Musk took over Twitter, Twitter was extremely curated and manipulated as to what they allowed to go through Twitter and what they didn't allow to go through Twitter. And I know the conspiracy theorists out there might be like, no, and it's like, well, there's a preponderance of evidence. So, how does this affect this topic at hand? Well, Twitter in Japan was heavily, heavily curated by, I think, pretty much one individual. And
that's a good sign.
And Twitter in Japan, what the Japanese found was a lot of shows, when you would search for things or get recommended things through Twitter, it would be pushing Korean music or Korean soap operas or dramas. And a lot of people in Japan did not care for Japanese Twitter and did not think Japanese Twitter was a great place to go, because essentially whoever was running it was really pushing K-pop or Korean drama or whatever. So Elon Musk takes over and all of this stuff sort of falls off. All of the curating, all of the drama, all of the control, and Japanese Twitter goes nuts. Goes nuts in a ridiculous way. Suddenly people are seeing trending Japanese music, trending Japanese television shows, and Twitter in Japan becomes a major marketplace of discussion of Japanese culture, of movies, of politics, of television shows, of video games. Now you might go, oh, well, they discuss this normally. It's like, no, like it is the town square for Japan. And to tell you why this is such a big deal, Japanese Twitter is more active than American.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Japanese Twitter is heavy active. And that's where a lot of them go to discuss things. Japanese culture is a lot more reserved traditionally.
Yeah, very
and
true. Very true.
allowing themselves to open up on a platform on somewhere like X, which is what it's currently called, changes a lot of things for the Japanese people. So it's become a big open marketplace where they discuss things. Now let's fast forward to earlier this week. Recently, something changed on Japan, on Japanese Twitter. And that's something of translation. Oh, I got rid of my Discord. There we go. Something in terms of translation. That's right. Translation has opened up dramatically on Twitter, and AI is basically now translating Japanese Twitter, where Americans in the West are now seeing what Japan is talking about. Japan is seeing what Americans are talking about. And it started out with this big love affair between the two sides. Suddenly, Americans are realizing Japan really loves like American traditional culture, like cowboys and barbecues and country music and all these really goofy. And Americans are like, hey, that's awesome. And then sharing how to barbecue like an American, sharing music with the Japanese, showing them stuff, inviting them to barbecues. And the Japanese were showing pictures of them attempting American barbecue and attempting to cook and the way the Americans do and stuff. And we found out that there's this weird love affair going on between Americans and the Japanese, where the Japanese are like, hey, we like you. And the Americans are like, hey, we really like you too. And it's just been really fun and charming sort of thing. And it's been a lot of fun and replete with people sharing pictures with each other, because suddenly the two Twitters are kind of crossing over.
That's really cool.
Right. And so we've had this really interesting crossover of Americans are super happy to share their culture with the Japanese. The Japanese are happy to share their culture with the Americans. A lot of crossover conversation. And it cannot be understated, we have influenced each other heavily over the decades already. And AI has had a huge part of this when it comes to Twitter. Well, now we go down maybe we should be slightly more concerned. A popular YouTuber posts on X about the machine translation. Japanese people have a bad image, and the overall impression of the country is declining. She pointed out that negative effects of the new feature that automatically translate posts in other languages on X. On X, the rollout of a feature has begun where AI Grok translates posts in other languages. Aoki commented on the fact that posts written in Japanese are now translated and displayed to foreign users, saying it's a bit disheartening to see that the image of Japanese people and foreigners is getting worse now, that posts on X are being automatically translated and displayed to people all over the world. And people are now glancing around going, wait, they know what we're talking about.
Uh-oh. They know.
Here's a comment on her conversation before Canon Anoki. Basically, she talked about how most foreigners have already realized Japan is proudly conservative country. Most of us simply don't want to follow the path Western countries took with wokeism and its cultural changes. Sure, rude, as she calls them, low-level posters exist. But that's not a uniquely Japanese problem. So it's time to comment on an odd thing. So an interesting thing that's happened in the West. It can be said that video games, anime, maybe music that comes from Japan, maybe a lot of the cultural stuff, the love affair, the early appreciation of Japanese culture, a lot of that came through pop culture. And a lot of that pop culture mostly leaned left-wing in Western countries. A lot of anime culture
Okay, yeah.
leans into maybe the LGBTQ community, leans into the very leftist community, and a lot of them have attached themselves to things like anime and Japanese culture and embraced it as a part of themselves. What's happening now is a lot of them are being exposed to actual Japanese opinion and actual Japanese culture and actual Japanese conversation. And a lot of them are finding out that they have a huge disconnect as to what this utopian rose-colored glasses that they had of Japanese culture and the reality of Japanese culture, which is very, very, very conservative, very traditional, and they really do not care for leftist nonsense. And it's funny because we've already seen colors of this problem occur in places like anime, where Japanese anime gets sent out to be translated in translation companies in places like America. And then these translation companies are translating Japanese anime and like putting woke spins on the language and adding translations that didn't exist and adding color to Japanese anime where it inserts more American leftist politics than the Japanese are actually presenting in the content that they're putting out. And a lot of people are sitting here stunned in a shocking way that somehow they're discovering something that they never believed was possible or true or whatever. And I think they were all deluding themselves about what they thought Japanese culture actually was. To go over
Seriously.
to another Twitter post, Japanese users worry that X is damaging Japan's reputation by auto-translating low-class Japanese posts and pushing them into your timeline. According to them, the feature mostly amplifies mockery of tourists, contempt for foreign cultures, and complaints framed in ways that were never meant to leave the island. All of it is now surfacing in English, Spanish, Portuguese, and beyond, translated and pushed to other users worldwide. For decades, Japan's image abroad as a polite, harmonious society was protected by most foreigners from not being able to read Japanese. The ugly corners of Japanese social media stayed local. The polished tourism ads went global, and that's gone now. But I don't think that was ever true. Like this weird idealized view that Japan is what I think it's supposed to be, or Japan is the image that I want it to be. And I think it's always been a lie. It's never been an accuracy. I'm going to find.
Well, the thing is we've talked a little bit about the translation and the shoehorning in of Western culture into anime and manga and stuff, and this comes as no surprise to us. And at the same time, I do have to say that kind of the contempt, or maybe contempt is the wrong word, but the fact that they don't really like tourists. I gotta say that I can't say that all the tourists out there are all that. I don't know. I have contempt for tourists too.
It's
The
not
thing is
contempt
that-
for tourists. It's contempt for certain types of tourists.
Okay, there you go. And that's really what it needs to be. is
There
contempt for
are
certain
cities
types
in
of tourists.
Japan that rely entirely on tourist money.
Because I gotta say that going abroad and trying to be the polite American tourist rather than the loud, obnoxious one, we should all strive to be like that. We're in another country. We need to be the good guys there.
Well, before we go too far down that road, let's read a few more stuff coming out of Japan that people are realizing. Kimi Onoda, Japan's Minister of Economic Security, recently had strong messages for leftists and their commentaries on Japanese culture, who complain that Japanese anime is not being woke. Her response is, too bad for you. She explains, this is Japan. We will do whatever we want.
Yep.
There's
Tough shit, nerd.
Yeah, more or less, there's been a rise of geopolitics from countries outside of Japan trying to influence anime, manga from the ground up, which is a conversation that I've been seeing over and over again coming from Japanese in manga and in anime, talking about how they don't like the heavy Western influence. Japanese video game developers talking about how they don't like the idea that they build games to cater to Western audiences. And this is being reflected over and over again. And Kimi Onoda essentially made a political stand for the content within Japan to remain Japanese. So this is becoming. It's funny. We're now getting a crossover of like, oh, we're seeing Japan's actual opinions. Here's more fallout. A Reddit post that became extremely viral. I have lost all respect for the Japanese after the translation feature on X. This isn't to generalize all Japanese people, but I'm a black 17 female. I remember being very fascinated and interested in Japan for a long time due to entertainment, music, and anime. I almost wanted to go there. I love the food and culture and tradition. If you go into the Reddit post, it goes into detail about how she's now extremely disappointed in Japan and has lost all respect with Japan. Here's a Japanese poster commenting on this. As a Japanese person, I'm more than glad to lose all respect from leftists worldwide. We don't want respect from communists. We just want you to know that we don't like you.
Oh my God. Nice.
I totally would friend that person.
Well, here's a comment to that post. Shut up, you conservative bitch. No one cares about your opinion there, let alone here. You could keep your racist shit in Japan. We have enough of our own. We aren't like you. We come for one. You come for one of us. You come for all of us, which is a communist sort of trope that they say. You can't break these lines with your bullshit.
Oh
my gosh.
You are also seeing responses to Japanese negativity with heavy, heavy racism from Western leftists.
I'm shocked.
Calling them slant eyes and calling them Japs. And it's been really ugly because the love affair between the left wing and their idealized version of Japan is actually dying in real time, and you can see it actively on Twitter. And like I said in the preface here, the funny thing about this is they kind of turned Japanese culture into what they wanted it to be, this weird idealized version of it. And it's like Japan is what it is. You know, as Jason alluded to, me and him went to Japan. I wanted to be very, very careful that I wasn't being disrespectful, that I wasn't doing things that would embarrass myself, that I wasn't going to, like, I wanted to visit all of the really old temples and shrines, and I'm not Shinto or Buddhist, so I don't want to disrespect them by showing up at the shrine and pretending to be Shinto or Buddhist or showing up and doing things or whatnot. But then I read it's considered proper or respectful to show up and pay respects at the shrine and throw a coin. So I figured out the exact ceremony that you had to do, where you wash your hands, then you go up, and with the shrines you have to clap twice and bow. Whereas with the temples, the Buddhist temples, you don't clap because the Buddhists don't do the same thing, but you are supposed to cleanse yourself and go in there. Because I wanted to respect the place and drop a few coins to help maintain these places that are 800 years old, older than the country I currently live in. And I wanted to be respectful and figure out a way to live in this other country because I realized it's not my country. But the problem is there's an attitude in the West of being heavily activist. And look, if you're an activist, that's fine. But Japan is not your country. We have had constant stories of Western individuals, it's not always Americans, but Western individuals, leftists, going to Japan to teach English and finding out that there's a certain attitude and decorum of how you're supposed to conduct yourself. And then finding out they don't like it and somehow feel it's their obligation to insert themselves into Japanese culture and somehow change how they conduct themselves. Like, you know better from an enlightened society, and you're going to teach the Japanese that this isn't how you're supposed to conduct yourself. Japan, the reason why tradition exists is to preserve your culture. And Japan is heavy on tradition, and they're very proud of their culture. And guess what? Why wouldn't they be? They should be proud of who they are and the culture that they are. Does that mean everything in Japanese culture I approve of? No, but I'm not Japanese. I don't live there. How is it my business to go over there and be like, well, I don't like that you're very restrictive and people feel like claustrophobic and they don't feel like they can express themselves and blah. Yeah, but that's my opinion. I'm not Japanese. The Japanese have every right to define themselves and act the way they want to. And sitting here smugly on the other side of the world going like, well, you should act differently. One of the big conversations going on in Japan right now is immigration. Japan does not like immigration because they don't want their culture to change. And it's become kind of vitriolic and angry, where they've had left-wing groups and right-wing groups having fights in the middle of the street. The current government in Japan is very anti-immigration. All of these things are conversations happening in that country. Guess what? They have every right to self-determination and how they want to view the world, and it's not really my business. Because I'm not Japanese. I don't know why everybody in the left feels like it's their responsibility to insert themselves into everybody else's culture, to insert their opinions, to insert their ideology. Japan doesn't want it. They're rejecting it. And it's funny because this weird love affair that the left has been having with Japan for decades now, this view that they view Japan in a certain way that they want to. And maybe there were indications that they thought it was different. Japan has this odd relationship with gender roles. Well, they'll have people play with gender roles and stuff. And leftists in America might interpret that as being progressive. That concept is a Western concept. It's not a thing the Japanese think about. Or like terming things like conservative in America doesn't mean the same thing as conservative in Europe. That doesn't seem to mean the same thing as conservative in Japan. And simply going, well, look, they're progressive because they're okay with weird gender role mixing stuff, which isn't super common, but it happens in Japanese manga and stuff like that. That doesn't mean they agree with you politically. And Japan, if anything, is swinging farther right as of late because they're very concerned with immigration. And that's their right. That's their right. But now we've got leftists falling apart on the internet as they look over at Japan and be like, they're not the people I thought they were. Well, where did that come from? Would you make it up? Because I watched a bunch of Naruto and I thought they ran around with their arms behind them. They're not the quaint people walking around in kimonos I thought they were. That's racist. That's racist.
Super racist.
Well, nuh-uh. They're my wholesome Hekarino Japanese people. What do you mean?
Fair Nippon.
Fair Nippon.
I've lost respect for Japan. How could they?
I don't think they care.
Nope,
they don't.
Not at all.
People in the Japanese government are angry with leftists. They think they're angry with Western leftists because they think they're trying to change their culture, which they kind of are.
They are. Yeah.
Yeah, they want
to.
And look, like you said, that's not to say that, like, even me, curmudgeonly, very non-progressive dude that I am, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't live in Japan. There's stuff about their culture that's fucking stupid as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But, I don't care. I don't live there. Like, I
don't live.
I might visit one day, but, like, whatever.
See, that's what's so stupid about it. They're like, well, why aren't you leaning in the political direction? They're from another country on the other side of the world with different values and different cultures and different things that they find important. It's like, are there things to criticize about Japanese culture? Absolutely. Not my business, really.
No. Doesn't matter to me in the end.
The Japanese have a right to define themselves and identify the way they want to, just like I do as an American. I'm going to worry about America stuff. And in a weird way, it's like I'm very pro-Japanese for the Japanese. I don't want to become Japanese, and I don't want the Japanese to become American. And for the things that I think Japan could change, I would like them to change, but it's not my business.
Yeah, and they need to do it themselves.
They do. Otherwise, there's going to be about a bitter resentment of busybody Americans or Westerners trying to insert themselves into Japanese culture. It ain't gonna work. And so we've had a lot of people are really upset because they're now being exposed to Japanese culture in a way they never thought they would, because they're like, oh well, they're always so polite. It's like, oh, by the way, there's a strong culture in Japan of hating communists and leftist politics.
Yeah, they super murdered a guy right on stage.
They super murdered a guy. So, I'm sorry for your weird disconnect. I still like Japanese culture. I still love the love affair between the Americans and what seems to be American right-wing traditional culture.
It is funny.
We're all high-fiving and talking about barbecue while you're over there getting really bitter that for some reason you can't bully Japan into making Sasuke gay. Sasuke isn't gay, you guys.
No. What?
All of your shipping,
no matter what
Japanese
your fan fiction says.
Yeah, no matter what your fan fiction says. Despite this, Ross, here's the fun part about a lot of the sharing of cultures that has happened lately. Japan has found out about Buc-ee's.
Our most holiest symbol, yes.
American Brothers, a new character has appeared. What kind of character is this?
Well, of all the people to find out about the Buc-ee's squirrel or whatever, groundhog, whatever he is Japan, because they love a dumbass character.
Oh, they do?
Love a mascot.
And the weird fascination that Japan has started in their interest in Buc-ee's has been really funny. Because suddenly they're like, what is this Buc-ee's? To tell you how goofy this has been, Americans and some Japanese have immigrated to find a Buc-ee's bronze statue and recreate the Tokyo Ghoul passed out in Buc-ee's arms.
I was say, I know that was a meme too with the Lana Del Rey song playing over.
Yeah, Americans have been doing it, but you're now being exposed to a huge amount of Americans in cosplay and Japanese journeying to find a Buc-ee's so that they can pass out in the Buc-ee's statue arm.
My God.
They are asking weirdly pointed questions about what Buc-ee's is. What does it mean? What is it all about? Americans describing it as a mega gas station or a mall.
Well, you see, they serve barbecue there. Like weirdly good barbecue.
And have very clean bathrooms.
They also have 100 gas station pumps.
Yep. Well, you're welcome, Japan.
Behold, Texas's greatest export. Not oil, not
Buc-ee's.
Cowboys, not the Texas Rangers. Buc-ee's.
There are loads of pictures of girls in cosplay laying in the Buc-ee arm.
God.
There,
He's
Hatsune
just so
Miku.
It's so funny that they latched onto that of all things.
Oh, they love their cutesy animal like brand mascots. They love
They have mascots for everything.
Different
Oh, yeah.
prefectures will have mascots.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
people dressed in outfits, dancing around and doing stuff. Yeah, Japan. Still love you. And if you're Japanese, feel free to weigh in on the controversy. Do you feel one way or the other? But the fact that the West is now having a crisis where a lot of people in the West have based their personalities off of obsession with anime and video games, and they're finding out that the Japanese do not care for their politics.
Which, I don't know, it's so funny to me because it's like, I don't know, I got into Wikipedia deep diving, in high school, right? Like when Wikipedia was still new-ish, I guess. Not that I'm being hipster about it, but when I was about 20 or so, 19, 18, and all it takes is like, hey, the government of Japan, who's been in charge? It's like, all it takes is looking at those political parties to understand what they're about. Like, at best, they're center right.
I did a massive comparative political research in college of the Japanese government, and the Conservative Party had basically been in charge for decades.
yeah, in the same way that that weirdo kind of center-left party in Mexico was in charge for like 70 years.
Yeah, it's basically that Japan. And it's like there was one election where the left won and then lost the one after that.
Yeah, like it's... I don't know what to tell you, man. Like,
but it's been pretty much since World War II, the Conservative Party in Japan has been in charge.
Yeah.
And it's like, what degree of conservative are you talking about? And there have been some concerns. I mean, Japan has had these issues with foreigners as well as tourists going to what is essentially sacred locations in their country, vandalizing temples and shrines. They have had a huge conversation about what it means to let a lot of foreigners into their country and whether or not they're okay with it or approve of it. And these are questions that they're going to have to deal with. It's not your business, America. Or the West?
No. Well, and on top of that, like the Western, whether it's American, European, Canadian, whatever, view on politics is not inherently what Japan's or Korea's would be, or China's or whoever, right? Because, like, yeah, this is the Conservative Party, quote unquote. They are wimpy shit libs compared to the imperial rule of Japan prior to 1945.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like there's a... Politically, the Japanese police, like, adopting a semi-automatic pistol in the 90s was a big deal. And by the way, they barely adopted it and then went immediately back to revolvers, because we like revolver better, and we don't want to be militaristic. Because then it looks like we're the Kempentai, and that's not something we want to do. Like, anyway, there's just a lot of context that Japan has about their own politics that don't even factor into anywhere else. And, you know, as it is everywhere. Like, you know, whatever.
Not to as exaggerated an extent, but a similar thing with Twitter has been happening in Korea.
Oh, I bet. Well, yeah, like, when that attempted coup happened, and you had all these people who clearly only like Korea because of K-pop and K-dramas going like, oh no, what's going on? And anyone that knows, like, history of Korea, even just a little bit, like, I barely know anything. It's like, oh no, they do this all the time.
Yeah, this
has been a long period of them not doing this.
Well, not only that, but it's like they're right next to China. It's not surprising that there's heavy anti-communist sentiment. I don't care what your politics are, but we're talking about the reality of these places, and places like Korea and Japan have very outsized influence on Western countries because their culture gets everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's no surprise that Japan has a lot of anti-communism. China's right there.
Yeah.
And their best good brothers, North Korea, the Kingdom.
Yep.
Korea also has a lot of anti-communist sentiment, or at least left-leaning politics. There's been a huge row between men and women in Korea, where women are moving left and men are moving very right politically. So, I mean, these are conversations happening in these countries. K-pop and K-dramas and all the stuff you love. You're now being exposed. Like, that's like, anime is not Japanese culture. I know it's going to sound weird to you. Watching a drama or looking at a geisha is not actually Japanese culture. This isn't Japanese culture are normal people. And there's been, I think, one of the stupidest problems in the West is there's been a lot of, like, glassy-eyed sensationalizing of Japan and turning them into these weird paragons that they never were. They're normal people, just like the rest of us. And they're kind people, and they can be mean. They can be racist. It's funny. You see a lot. I read a lot of Twitter posts across the West. Like, actually, if you didn't know, Asia is extremely racist. And it's like, What, are you surprised that racism exists outside of America? What kind of weird bubble do you exist in where America's the
No,
only
America
racist
invented
country?
racism.
Go to Europe and hear what they say about black people.
How dare you?
America's
They
not the
definitely
only
don't throw
country.
bananas at black players.
Right. America's not the only country that has people who say racist stuff. And the fact that there's a weird disconnect with people in the West not only tells me how poorly traveled you are, but how delusional you are, that you think the whole world fits into a Western cultural bubble. And it doesn't. Japan has issues with countries that they don't like. There are racists in Japan. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. How many anime do you watch with black people in it?
I mean, weirdly enough, I feel like it's a thing that was bigger in the 80s.
Yeah. You know what they do have an obsession with?
Tokenism.
Blonde and blue-eyed people.
That's true.
Yeah, all because that one like Scandinavian guy.
Yeah, he was in a
Or is he
French
French?
movie and he's from Sweden.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that weird Swedish horror movie or whatever? Where they dance around the maypole and it's all messed up.
Oh no, I never. Midsummer, no.
Midsummer, yeah. The guy that Japan was obsessed with back in the 80s, he's in that movie as an old man.
Oh really?
Yeah, he's in that movie.
Oh okay, I didn't know that.
If you didn't know, there was a guy that I believe he was in a French movie and he's from Sweden. And he's a very fair, blonde, blue-eyed, good-looking guy. And that French movie made it to Japan in the 80s. And you might go, why is that a big deal? Because Japan became obsessed with this guy. And that guy, that fair-looking, hot young guy, became reflected in manga and anime for decades after that. Every hot guy you see in anime is because of him, because of that movie. Because it's a fair guy with long hair and maybe he's got bright eyes. And you're like, well, that's not true. It is so incredibly true. It has infected manga and anime all over the place and all of this stuff. And it's because their obsession with how hot this one guy was in a French movie.
Bjorn Anderson is his
Bjorn
name.
Anderson. Right? Google it. It's really a thing.
Yeah, and as soon as you see his face, you're like, oh yeah, that's definitely the guy from like...
He's every anime character.
Yeah, every hot blonde anime guy.
Yeah.
It's just like all of them. You just immediately know, oh, yep, mm-hmm.
Yep, I know that guy.
There it is.
Yeah. Well, the everybody's upset now. They've discovered what Japan really is. A very traditional conservative culture.
It's weird.
I don't know why
Strange.
anyone would be surprised about this.
Well, yeah.
The thing is, one of the things that you find out by consuming Japanese culture is just how much they honor and value traditions. It's all through all the media that we consume from Japan. And yet they're so surprised that it's actually real. No, wait, they actually are interested in preserving the traditions of their culture. I'm sorry, you guys. You've done this to yourselves. Japan didn't do this to you. You did it.
Well, because you turned them into something that they weren't. And I watched a video recently where somebody was talking about this, and they're like, well, they didn't realize that Japan is actually somewhat progressive, just not as progressive as they are. And it's like, that term doesn't even apply to Japan. They didn't have a progressive movement.
Nope.
The progressive movement was turn of the century, early 20th century, like the West, mostly America. They didn't have a progressive movement. So the term progressive doesn't apply to Japan at all. This is so weird. I know this might burst a weird bubble for you, but when you hear people talk about like, oh, right wing in Europe, their right wing is not our right wing.
Right.
These terms don't cross over. Terms of conservative or liberal or whatever, they don't define the terms the same way we do. And so blanket statementing, it's like, well, the right wing, it's like, these aren't the same, these aren't equivalents. And so talking about other cultures like Japan is like, the terms aren't equivalent. Like the way they look at it is different than ours.
that one party in Germany.
Yeah,
The,
those
the
one
whole
guys.
left versus right doesn't really make sense there.
No, it doesn't. And it's like, well, American right wing. It's like, well, who are you talking about? Because the American conservative would be small government. But if you're defining them as right wing and you're trying to define it in terms of like totalitarians with big evil government police and stuff, that there's a big difference between that and traditional American attitudes towards limited government, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
It's these are vast gulfs when it comes to how we view the world and terminology. So understand that what you thought Japan was is not what you think it was. Japan is a different country than you think it was. And that's fine. They're a different place. People go to Japan and they go to the touristy places and then they get glossy eyed about Japan. And then they move there and they're like, I can't make friends. Well, because Japan they usually don't make friends with foreigners. I know that sounds weird, but the common thing you hear from expats in Japan is the friends they have are other expats. They aren't Japanese.
yeah, yep.
Because Japanese don't tend to make friends with foreigners. And it's like, well, that's gross. It's like, well, for whatever reason, they don't like me. You can't make them like you. There was an issue with a Westerner who went to Japan who wanted to become it was a model. And Japan wasn't interested because they didn't care for her body type or her look or that sort of thing. And she got really upset and talked about how racist Japan is and how hard it is to become a model there. And it's like, they don't have to let you be a model.
No.
Well, Japan traditionally favors very fair, very thin people. And if you're a bigger person, they do not care. And it's like, you might live in the West where you can be a model and have more meat to your bones and not be hyper skinny like the Japanese. The Japanese don't have to like it. They're not interested in putting you in their clothes. So the fact that you're upset that you can't get paid to model in Japan, it's like, that's their country.
That's such an entitled way to think of things. If I just go to this other country, they're sure to fall down at my feet and worship me. It's like, what?
They better.
That is so stupid.
We have
one of
keep going.
I was going to say, so one of the interesting stories that I like to talk to people about is when you and I went to Japan. We went to that one shrine and we prayed at the shrine and we made our donation and everything. And we got talking to this old guy who was there. And he ended up taking our Goshuin, our books with the shrines we'd visited in to the priest, because the priest didn't really want to do that. But he did it for us. And he asked us not to tell other foreigners
Where the shrine was.
that he would do it. Yeah.
Well,
where the shrine
I
was.
think it was a Buddhist temple, but yes.
Yeah. But the kind of the thing there for us was the fact that, one, we were respectful about the place. And the little caretaker guy that we were talking to, he noticed how we had made this kind of a part of our journey there, that we were trying to experience the culture. And so he went and talked to the priest for us.
Yeah,
Which
he
I thought was
basically just
really
reminded
interesting.
us he usually doesn't sign those.
Yeah.
And I think he opened it and realized we had like dozens and dozens of visited temples and shrines. And he's like, well, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing is that one of the things that I felt that you and I did was, especially you did a lot of research before.
I did a lot of research.
In finding out the best way to do things and the best way to make sure that we were being respectful. And we went to that another shrine, and I was just like, oh, I can't believe that we're from the same country as these other people. Because of how they were acting at the shrine.
Being loud and
like,
blocking the pass and being stupid. And
yeah.
We have a comment. I feel like people are surprised because they actively exported their culture and chose to sanitize aspects of it. I don't think they were really sanitizing.
No, I
feel
think
like
if any sanitization was done, it was on our side.
Yeah, viewing it different. I feel like they did
localization.
it to survive. I don't know about that either. Their population is shrinking so drastically. Their population is shrinking drastically.
Oh yeah,
They are having
that's-
a massive issue with birth rates, which the West is as well. We aren't having birth rate replacement. We just aren't. And
It's kind of a global thing too. Just in general.
Yeah, it's a general thing that happens in the Western cultures as well as Japan.
in the more
And
developed
there's a lot
countries,
of reasons for it. I know the common proposed reason is that because people don't feel like they have enough money to support a family, that they're not having children. The problem is poor people have way more children than wealthy people. So that's not statistically true. There are reasons in Japan for why it's happening, which I'm not Japanese and I don't understand it as in depth as I would. But yeah, their population is shrinking, but so is America's. And so is the West. I mean, English populations are shrinking, French's population is shrinking.
Well, and like genuinely, birth rates are going down in the third world too.
Yeah.
Like India's birth rates are dropping. I mean, they're still way above replacement, but like compared to where they were, they are going down.
Yeah, the explosion. Yeah, but we are not. We are not in replacement. And Japan's really bad. And look, this is part of Japan's culture that they need to figure out a solution for. Absolutely. I mean, they are having problems having children. This is a problem. I mean, it's not always rosy when it comes to Japan's culture. Oh, goodness. Well, Ross.
Yes?
We have another drama that hit our radar, and it's been really, really, really funny.
Yeah, it's very smart.
A lot has happened. I know a lot about it, and Ross has gone deep dive getting research for it so that he can explain it. So what's going on, Ross? What's happening with this film?
Well, for those out there who have been watching this podcast, and all of you, many dozens, I'm sure, we saw a trailer some time ago for Animal Farm, and funnily enough, Rhett and I were talking about this, and it's like the very beginning of the trailer, like, oh, cool, neat, and then immediately Seth Rogen voice is like, oh. Just immediate bummer and distaste entirely. Well, the movie has now came out yesterday, and there was like a big push on social media because this movie the director is Andy Serkis and it has a lot of big names in it, but the distributor is Angel Studios.
Yep. They didn't make the film, to be fair.
No, they did not make they are merely distributing it and presumably helping advertise it and such. But the Angel Studios is known for doing like the King David animated film. For that what was that one with Jim Caviezel about the human trafficking?
Passion of the Christ?
No, they didn't make Passion of the Christ. It was about the kidnapped children.
Yeah, anyway, I can't remember the name of it. I'm an idiot. But
they're making the new Washington movie. Very Christian, very conservative leaning studio.
Yeah,
I did see that Angel Studio had a hand in this, and I thought that seems odd.
Well,
and
there's a big rabbit hole to go down here.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people did initially, and so it's kind of hard to know where to start. So that's why I wanted to start there, and then we'll go into this Screen Rant article, just some brief points from it. I don't want to read the whole thing, but obviously it's a George Orwell novel that's being adapted about, it's a dystopian, basically it's a criticism of communism, specifically kind of Stalin, but and all through the lens of animals on a farm. Right. And Serkis is being interviewed here by Screen Rant, and because there's some changes being made to this, and he opened up on to Screen Rant's Liam Crowley. Serkis opened up about why he gave the film a more hopeful ending in contrast to the dark nature of Orwell's writing. He goes on to explain that the world is already so severe And that he wanted families who see Animal Farm together to feel a sense of hope that there is a possibility that this ever-evolving circle of history repeating itself, that we have to keep trying. I want you to keep.
Gosh.
Yeah, I want you to keep that in mind right there. That phrase, keep trying. He even added a message at the very end of the film that says, this film is dedicated to all those who are oppressed. Your time will certainly come. And to all those who oppressed, your time will certainly come to an end. Yeah, he goes on. He's like, obviously the novel ends in a very bleak place where there's no hope. Almost like Orwell was a socialist scorned by Stalinists. Weird. Anyway, despite being infused with more hopeful tone, the animated film doesn't end with a fully formed resolution. Yada yada. So it is a revolving wheel, but as you say, the book ends in a very bleak place where there is no hope. And I wanted us to feel at least that we don't give it's not a resolution, because Lucky is at the end still faced with, well, let's try and think this through again. Let's just start all over again. And what are the good things we've learned from the journey that we've been on so far? So it doesn't tie it up all nicely in a Hollywood ending. But we definitely say at the end, it's not going to be easy, but at least you have to keep trying. Animal Farm centers on a group of yada yada. Anyway, the big star-studded cast, a lot of big people in it. So that's the big thing I wanted to get from this article, was that they have changed the ending. It's like I said, rather than being the bleak one that Orwell had, they're trying to give it a happy ending. And there's this theme of keep trying, and also like, maybe the revolution will happen, kind of a thing. It's kind of how a lot of people are taking it. So the next article is from USA Today, and it has more lovely quotes from Andy Serkis. We don't have to watch the video. I'm just going to scroll through and catch some of the quotes. First of all, he showed up for the red carpet at the premiere with a red hat that said, "Make Animal Farm fiction again." So, very cutting, obviously.
As soon as people stop trying to make communist hellholes, maybe we will.
Well, let's see. Orwell is often lauded as prophetic because of his 40s dystopian novels. The theme of... When he wrote Animal Farm, he intended it as an allegory for the Russian Revolution. This is not a quote. This is this is just from the article. As an allegory for the Russian Revolution and the rise of Stalinism, as we've talked about, Serkis approached the adaptation by asking himself what Orwell would write about if he wrote Animal Farm today. He didn't want it to be a story about Stalinist Russia. I mean, that is so gauche and passé. Instead, he gravitated towards themes of capitalism and wealth and overconsumption.
Of course he did.
The billionaire antagonist, Pilkington, Glenn Close, drives what closely resembles a Cybertruck.
She does in the movie.
Oh my god. Anyway. When the trailer dropped in December, it was oversaturated with middle school knee slappers set to the upbeat Feel It Still by Portugal the Man. The criticism was swift. After all, Animal Farm is serious and violent story with a bleak ending. Yeah, they send a horse to the glue factory and have a pig torn apart by hounds. The advertised butt jokes, campy fight montages, and sinister Seth Rogen laughs. They are sinister. You know what, USA Today? You are correct. There's never been a more sinister laugh. Serkis welcomes the criticism of the new animated Animal Farm. Serkis maintains the author's estate signed off on the adaptation when he secured the rights. He insists Orwell would have wanted controversy. He's sort of adored and abhorred by the left and the right. That's the other thing about our film. We're not going to...
No. I've read multiple George Orwell books, and I don't abhor him, even though I don't agree with him ideologically. I think he's a very thoughtful, reflective person.
Mm-hmm. We're not going to have a go at any one administration or regime. It's about authoritarianism and our responses to that and power corrupting. I welcomed it, and I loved that debate because that's what it's all about. creating a debate.
Well,
And that's what I want to do.
Well, he wants to recreate the conversation about maybe these ideologies aren't so bad anymore. We should talk about it again.
Yep.
As if enough people haven't died. I mean, look,
Well,
Andy,
we just have to try again.
the arrogance to believe that you know what George Orwell would think and this is what he would write today. The sheer hubris to believe that somehow you think that this is what George Orwell would comment on. He would comment on capitalism, not communism. The book was written about communism. It simply was.
About it is.
George Orwell did not like communists at all. He experienced his friends being murdered by commies and Stalinists when he fought in the Spanish Revolution. He saw them being murdered in front of his eyes and tortured and sent to prisons. George Orwell despised communists. It was funny. He had an interesting commentary as a socialist in the book, The Road to Wigan Pier. He used to talk about how, as a socialist, he couldn't understand why he didn't like other socialists. Like, it confused him. He's like, why don't I like other socialists? And you know what his conclusion was? It's not that they cared about the poor. It's only that they hated the rich.
Yeah.
And it was all about greed and
yeah,
pettiness. And George Orwell reflected this in the books. This book was written after his experiences in the Spanish Revolution, in the Spanish Civil War. And the nerve to think that you know how he would feel, that this is the book he would write. Don't speak for someone who's dead. That's not your business.
Well, my favorite quote is right here. When he bought the rights, Circus said that Orwell estate didn't exert much creative control, requesting only that he not stray too far from what the book is about. Representatives from the Orwell estate did not respond to USA Today's request for comments.
So they would have disapproved of him straying from what the book was about. Because, to clarify, the ending of the book is not the ending of the movie. The movie, the book ends in about, the second act in the film. The movie goes on where the revolution actually does take hold and the revolution succeeds and takes over the world.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas the book ends with the pigs and men playing cards together.
Murdering people that they disagree with. The movie kind of presents, now we haven't seen the movie, so I'm giving this off of people who have seen it in reviews, but the movie essentially presents the pigs as being misled by consumerism.
Yeah.
Yes, because that's exactly what happened.
Not greed and pettiness and communist totalitarianism. They were misled by consumerism, which is an entire... Look, I don't care what ideology you are. If he wrote it as a criticism to communism and the movie ends up becoming a communist praising thing and a criticism of capitalism, you're dishonoring his work. That's not what he was talking about. Like, I don't know how to make it plainer than that. You're crapping on what George Orwell was intentionally trying to say. You're deliberately misinterpreting what he was talking about in the damn book. He would have viewed the movie as a gross interpretation of his book. Because that's not what he said. That's not what he was talking about. Sorry.
No, he may not have liked consumerism or capitalism. You said he was a socialist, so he may not have liked any of those things
I
well.
think he softened
but at the
later.
same time,
but
yeah, and there's been like criticism of the softening because, like, look, most everybody's read Animal Farm in middle school. That's typically when, at least in America, when people have read that book.
Right.
However, this movie, I mean, even from the trailer, you're like, is this for like kids? Because it's like having Watership Down be for children. Like, don't do that. Like, but Circus defends some of this, saying, he points out Animal Farm was once subtitled A Fairy Story, saying it was meant for younger audiences and was written with children in mind.
No.
And No, the fuck it was not.
No.
Like
A fairy story, as in communism, is a fairy tale.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
I've read Animal Farm
I liked
multiple
Watership
times.
Down when I was a kid, so I was kind of weird.
You are weird, Jason. Anyway, I started rereading Animal Farm the other day, and in the beginning, the preface talks about him and the experiences he had with the communists and why he wrote the book.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what
And
that's like taking Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and being like, it's actually about atheism.
Making it
yeah.
atheist.
No, this is an atheist book, actually.
Is it C.S. Lewis who?
Aslan isn't Jesus.
Well, that's the funny thing. It's remember when they made Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and Liam Neeson was playing Aslan, and everyone's like, "Well, he's a Jesus allegory." He's like, "Well, he doesn't. He's not necessarily one. You can interpret him as like Buddha or Muhammad or something." And it's like C.S. Lewis literally said he represents Jesus. Like literally said he's basically Jesus in another world. That's what Jesus basically appears in another world and is represented as a lion. That's what C.S. Lewis said. You might disapprove, you might not like it, but stop reinterpreting some other person's work just so it fits your ideological framework. Horseshit.
Especially when they came out and told you what it meant.
He literally said what it meant. There was no ambiguity. It didn't possibly represent Buddha. It just didn't. Sorry, Ross. You have a lot more to go over.
No, you're good. I just want to finish this article. Oh, well, actually, this article's done.
All right.
We'll go to the next one. And there's not a lot I want to do in this one. It just mostly covers stuff. There's stuff that we'll talk about later at the beginning. Yeah, there's one near the bottom talking about Tim Pool. And apparently, like, the Glenn Close's character, the Pilkington, looks weirdly like Elon Musk's mother.
Yes.
Which I didn't even know.
Yep.
That's fucking weird.
And she drives a Cybertruck.
Yeah. But yeah, near the bottom, like Tim Pool, who screened the full film after receiving a sponsorship request from Angel Studios, publicly rejected the ads. The film is shockingly offensive as pro-communism and anti-capitalism. The film is, in its entirety, is a critique of capitalism from beginning to end, and even has pro-leftist terrorism elements. Poole emphasized that he had supported Angel Studios previously, but could not endorse this project, which is a similar thing that we'll see later.
So
after
a
that,
lot of people have been endorsing the movie. Is what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Near the bottom of that, there was talks about Riley Gaines, who's some prominent conservative activist. I'll be honest, I've never even heard that fucking name before, but
she was.
I'm also
remember that big swimming competition where a trans person swam and won?
Oh yeah.
She was the one that lost, and she became very vocal about it. She basically came in second, and she's like, "I would have won if we didn't let a man swim in a women's competition."
Right. Okay.
So that's who she is.
But she had a very public and embarrassing promotion of this film.
Well, not just her. There was a lot of them.
Oh, there's others, but hers is really bad because she said she watched it and said it was, they did a perfect job reminding viewers that Marxism always has and always will fail. It's like, really? I don't think you watched it.
Riley Gaines, the redheaded libertarian, Tucker Carlson, a lot of people took money from Angel Studios to promote this movie, and then spoke about it like it was. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of the stuff you set out.
Yeah, no, you're good. Just skip the next two and go to the Tucker post then.
All right.
So like that's his Twitter post. And then if you want to go to the video after this, it's actually, and it should be already timestamped for the part of the video where he talks about the film. The YouTube video it's on is typical Tucker these days, if I'm honest. But
movie
and I don't know if you want to watch this, but basically he goes on about promoting this and saying, "Oh, it's just this film that's I think Animal Farm's better than 1984, and this film is really blah blah blah." And it's just him promoting it, and clearly he didn't watch it. I mean, blatantly obvious this dummy didn't watch it.
He's had comments like, "This is a destruction of Marxism."
Yeah. And it's like, is it?
Well, to clarify, what we found is apparently Angel Studios has been paying right-wing influencers all over the place to promote the movie and taking money to promote the movie. High-profile individuals like Tucker Carlson who have been putting out videos talking about how this is one of the greatest movies ever. That's a destruction of communism and Marxism. And they clearly haven't seen this film. Clearly have not seen the movie because they're talking about it like this is a timely commentary on the dangers of communism. And the movie is talking about capitalism and talks about communism in a positive light. So we are now seeing a huge issue with right-wing commentary where they're taking money, haven't seen the movie, and found themselves promoting a film that's anti-capitalist. Those dolts.
And by the way, I would be mortified
if we did that.
Oh my god! Well, if I was one of them, I mean, at least Redhead Libertarian. We don't have to bring her thing up, but she basically, you can if you want. It's quick. It's real quick. Basically, it's just her, because I think she had a promoting post and then later deleted it. Is my understanding.
A lot of these people have deleted their posts
because I can't find the one where she's promoting it. I can only find this, and basically she's saying like I've been supporting and partnering with Angel Studios for years, and it's this movie, however, I will not promote, and this is not. I'm not going to do that anymore. She says she'll continue to promote Angel Studios' Catholic and historic work, like history work, as I always have. But I do believe in their mission. But she is not pleased about this movie,
or that she got riled into a lot of this nonsense.
Mm-hmm. So, and I don't know which came first, to be fair. But we'll go, if you go back up to Snarky post about fan concerns.
Yep.
We don't have to watch this video per se. We can if you want. It's shortish, but it's just this.
Seen me. They're judging a movie by
shitty,
a trailer, which is what trailers are
both
for.
Promotional video
at
and
Chloe Rice 8272
taking on the
Seth
criticisms
Rogen is probably
of
the last person to come to mind.
people saying that this trailer looks like shit, and that I'm pretty sure this is going to be pro-commie bullshit. And also not liking Seth Rogen, because, by the way, you shouldn't. He sucks. And just, blaming the fans. Talking shit about the fans.
Yeah, Animal Farm Animal Farm and, I guess, Angel Studios literally started attacking the fans and calling them pigs.
Yeah, in this video. And, this is not going over well.
No!
And there's actually... I don't know. I screenshotted it because I was worried it might get deleted, because it is really, belligerent and embarrassing, but I don't know how you'll show it on screen, but that one beneath, maybe you can either open it in another page or just you can blow it up real big if you want. I don't know.
I'm gonna blow it up real big.
Yeah, it's easy enough to do.
I know where to go.
We're looking behind the curtain, folks. Mine's still catching up. So there it is, right there. So somebody just jokingly, "Thank you for making this film. The author Orson Welles was a free market capitalist who wrote this book about the dangers of those who hate America. I can't think of a more patriotic movie for America's 250th birthday." Obviously, this is someone taking the piss out of those being critical of the trailer and the film. And this is the Animal Farm. This isn't a fake account. We couldn't agree more. And as President Benjamin Franklin, who invented both electricity and patriotism, once said, "The most patriotic thing a man can do is watch a great American film. We're honored to have your endorsement, Coach." Go fuck yourself. What a snarky ass, bitchy fucking thing to say.
Whoever's running their Twitter account is being really belligerent and assy.
Yeah, they're being real dickheads. It's just baffling.
Taking a page out of Hollywood's playbook.
Well, exactly. I mean, that's the great irony. Is
express their displeasure with your product, you attack them. That's Hollywood 101.
Well, that's the great irony is Angel Studios was making films. Was it Sound of Freedom, Call of Freedom? Anyway, they were
Sound of
making
Freedom.
films that Hollywood abhorred because it talked about things they
Right,
don't
right.
want to talk about. And also like the David animated film, like whatever.
George
And so they were
Young
kind of seen as
Washington is coming out sometime here.
yeah. So like they were seen as kind of like renegades or whatever, and now they're just like, well, you're just doing the same shit that Hollywood does. Go fuck yourself.
Well, and there's
Like,
a lot of confusion because the big question ended up becoming, why would Angel Studios make a movie like this? Why on earth? Because clearly they're conservative leaning, Christian leaning studio, and good, whatever, they can make their Christian movies, it's fine. But for some reason they're making this movie. Now, superficially, you might think to yourself, well, it's an Animal Farm movie. You would think it would have the same messages the book has. So maybe they just put they rubber stamped the movie and Andy Serkis, big name, and they thought that it would just be the story of Animal Farm, and they were just so stupid and delusional that they had no idea that he basically reinterpreted as an anti-capitalist movie. That's
Entirely possible.
well, see, that's the weird part. Like, how did they not know? This movie was in development in 2011. In 2013, he was giving interviews talking about how it's an anti-capitalist movie. So are they stupid? Did they not see the film? Did they not go over what was going on in this? Like, there were big questions as to, well, what exactly happened here? Why was Angel Studios putting out this movie? Because it doesn't make any sense. How could they be so delusional to not actually understand the movie that they were putting out? And then getting all these conservative people to promote it, who then found out that they were promoting a movie that they had never seen, talking about how it's anti-communist, and then shocked to find out it wasn't, being forced to delete posts in embarrassment. So, Ross, what happened?
well, so what if we bring up the next thing? It's Jordan Harmon.
Yeah, I was trying to preface your next post.
Yeah. So like he's the co-founder and president of Angel Studios, a man of Utah, and so his comment above this link is like the copy paste thing that they are replying beneath everybody now that they've got their snark out. And so, and he posts this link basically, well, this is how our process is for selecting films and TV shows, and we see the art, not the artist. And if you can click on it and go to it if you want, it's really short, but so it's not necessary, but essentially discussing how, and I get where this is coming from, but the timing is wrong and the context makes it feel shitty.
Yeah.
Basically, this starts like outside of the Animal Farm continuum. It's like, well, rather than resume check people in Hollywood, we want to read these ideas and see where you are as a storyteller rather than what you've done, because they're trying to get rid of that "what have you done for me lately" vibe is clearly what they're trying to do. So they have the Angel Guild, which is their membership to their streaming service, and there's like a voting section of the membership that votes on their projects that they're going to do, yada yada, and they're kind of like blind votes in a way where they don't know your gender, race, creed, politics, yada yada. And like when this is used in this context, it's like, so are you implying that they're racist? Like, are you implying that they, and also are you trying to pass the blame off onto them on top of that? Like, what the fuck? What a weird thing to post. Like, so did you not tell them what this movie? Like, you just said, "Oh yeah, it's Animal Farm." Well, of course, people who are going to subscribe to the Angel Films guild, of course they're going to go for Animal Farm. It's a classic anti-communist tale. I'm going to wager that 98% of people that watch Angel Studios films are probably pretty anti-communist.
Yeah.
But that's not the film they got, is it?
No.
Not even fucking close.
No.
So how can you to me, right, and I know people are trying to give the benefit of the doubt, but that's asinine. Because are you telling me that Angel Studios didn't screen this fucking thing at all?
Didn't know.
They didn't. They just had no clue. Weinstein even screened his films, and he was a blowhard jackass and a predator.
Is it like the Oscars where they all vote for the one that's politically correct and most people don't even watch the film that they vote for?
Oh, there's just so many films, Rhett. I don't know.
I don't have the time.
Like, it's just,
Well, Animal Farm is anti-communist, check mark, and then move on. But I can't believe they're this stupid.
Yeah, it's baffling that, and again, they're very clearly trying to pass the blame. To me, this comes off as they're trying to pass the blame off on their guild members.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, but you didn't give them all the information, did you? Like, come on. And finally, somebody has said that after the movie ends, there's a couple of QR codes that you can scan. And one if you liked it and one if you didn't. And thankfully, somebody on Reddit, bless you, was able to save the link for the one if you went to the one that you didn't like it. And now, granted, I will say this right now. Had this been a faithful adaptation, this would be a very clever and fun way
viral marketing
of viral marketing and being silly. It would be totally fine. But considering this is such a divisive adaptation of a very simple novella, like that, this comes off as, oh, you didn't like it? Well, actually, you're wrong. Like, rather than being in character and funny, it comes off as like, actually, we're correct. Also, if you scroll down to the bottom, they want money.
Yeah.
Keep going.
There's a donation page.
Oh, look at that. Buy tickets for somebody. Give a contribution. Express checkout. Venmo. PayPal. Like, go fuck yourself, Angel Studios. What the fuck? Like, and by the way, this is all the more baffling. Do you know, like, where Angel Studios came from?
Where?
Like, corporately?
Yeah.
Like, it came from the Vid Angel, which were the ones that would, like, edit films to cut out, like, nudity and violence and stuff. And so, like, of course, the spiritual, like, the successor to that brand and that thing, like, of course, the people that support it are probably going to be, like, more, like, probably conservative, probably religious, as is evidenced by the typical project that Angel Studios does. So, like, did you just purposefully lie to them? Or, like, lie by omission about what this movie was? Or are you just dumb?
Well, that's what's so confusing. I don't know what happened here. Did they know the message and think it was okay? Because that doesn't fit the type of people they are. Or are they so stupid that they just weren't aware? Or did this sneak through that some people pushed it through and that the general guys were like, well, it's Animal Farm, shrug? Because it's possible that they just heard Animal Farm and then thought it would be good.
You know what? And on the guild side of things, that's probably all they had information-wise. Yeah. But on the actual corporate side of things, absolutely asinine.
Someone watched that movie.
You have, like, you gotta. Did you read the script? Have you, like, you didn't do anything? Like, look, I get that the guild members get to pay, but shouldn't you be the initial, like, screening of these projects? I mean, I guess it's not your money. These are often crowdfunded projects. Like, oh my god. Just so ridiculous. I mean, it's either incompetence or I mean, is Angel Studios public now? I think they might be public.
I don't know.
Or maybe it's just blatant. Whatever. I don't know. It's so weird.
And the viral marketing thing comes across as more sinister 1984-ish than anything.
Yes.
You're like, ew, you don't like the film?
Yeah.
Huh? Well, you're wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah, and again, had it been a faithful adaptation, it'd just be like, oh, that's kind of a silly, cute, I mean, it's a really dark movie, but, like, it's a silly, cute idea, like, whatever, but you didn't make it faithful. You made it divisive and stupid, and not based on this book much at all.
It feels like there's going to be backlash. Like, this is a big boner of a failure.
Yeah, this could really hurt Angel Studios.
Yes.
Genuinely.
Yes.
Like, it could really damage their future projects in a way that I don't know if they understand. Because look, once you get that stink on you, it's really hard to shed. I mean, like, look at the gaming industry. When you see Ubisoft, these days, do you go, oh man, that's going to be quality? Fuck no, you don't.
No.
You absolutely do not have that reaction. Like,
well, trust is really hard to earn, but it's really easy to lose.
Yes, and almost impossible to gain back.
Yes, the effort to regain somebody's trust after you screwed them over is going to take so much more time, which is why a lot of studios like Ubisoft could come out with an amazing game and no one will care because they've already screwed up too many times. I mean, look at Marvel.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to trust Marvel. I mean, even if Doomsday's good, everybody's going to be like, yeah, what are we going to forget the last 16 films?
Listen, pal, I don't know. Yeah, and how many... And the reality is, this is me being maybe a little shitty, but your lower budget, mid-ass films are not going to bring back people that you've pissed off with this piece of shit. I'm sorry.
When I was trying to explain this to you, Ross, I was like, you don't know how stupid this whole situation.
Oh, it's really dumb. It's really stupid. And part of it was, I didn't understand that Angel Studios, their membership thing is called the Guild. So when you said Guild, I'm like, why'd they set that? Why'd they allow that to happen? I thought it was something different.
No.
And then I'm reading it and I'm like, that's even more dumb. This is really stupid. What the fuck?
What are we doing? Well, Angel Studios greenlit a Animal Farm movie. Oh, great. They didn't watch it or read the script and just thought Andy Serkis is a big name. And then the movie went to go come out and all of a sudden it's anti all of the values that we thought that they had.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really embarrassing because they paid a bunch of conservatives to advertise for them. And then they blank slated it without seeing it, talking about how it's an anti-communist movie when it isn't. So now all of these conservative people are really embarrassed and deleting posts because Angel Studios asked them to promote it and paid them to give positive reviews when they didn't even see the movie, that they were just blank slate, checking off a film that they had never looked at because Angel Studios, we can trust them. This damages their reputation as well. On top of this movie's going to come out and everybody's going to hate it. And Angel Studios is going to take a reputation dump. And everybody's going to be looking around confused like, did you not see the film? Did you not know what you were making? Is there not some sort well, what are we doing here? And Andy Serkis, who is going to direct the Hunt for Gollum movie, is smugly sitting here like, well, it's going to create discussion. And this is what George Orwell would make because this is not the book he wrote, but somehow I speak for him because I can commune with the dead, I guess, Andy Serkis. I mean, isn't this the same comment that what's her name wrote when she made Bride of Frankenstein or whatever it was called, The Bride, where she said this was the book that Mary Shelley would have written. And it's like, no, she wouldn't have. What are you talking about?
Well, and it's just like, yeah, Andy Serkis, we just have to try even harder with communism next time. Clearly, that's what you mean.
No, we'll open up a discussion, and then 80 million more people dead later. Well, let's talk about it again.
Oh, God. And here's the thing for me is, it's been a thing in Hollywood for a long, long time where the most obvious example is Disney. Disney, that brand, for a long time, there was certain kinds of films you could, both make, but then also distribute under that name. But Disney, as they grew and as they wanted to diversify, they wanted to, hey, let's try something more serious live action, or let's try something R-rated in live action. Well, that's when they started coming out with their other distribution companies, right? That would be the ones. Yeah, was it Touchstone?
Touchstone, yeah.
But you don't put Disney's name on it.
No, not directly. Absolutely not. Not a chance in hell. And there's a reason for that, because you will like the people who trust the Disney name are not going to be real pleased about the R-rated like movie that you've now distributed other like because that's not what that's about.
Right.
And Angel Studios is like too small probably to do that at this point in time. But maybe you should have.
This is a screw up.
And they were clearly wanting to bank on the Angel name, but it's baffling because this is not anything that they would normally do.
Well, there's trust implied because they understand that it's going to lean in one political direction or have a religious bent to it, which is fine. But there's some sort of a trust implied in your grandma being able to trust that if I go to this movie, it's going to be a wholesome whatever. And it's like, well, this is just damages your trust and reputation. Like, what are we doing here?
I think you had the right idea there, Rhett, with the fact that Andy Serkis was attached to it and Angel Studios was like, we got a big name guy doing this. And he just said Animal Farm. And they thought, oh, Animal Farm, you can't screw that up. And then they went to the guild and said, big name director doing Animal Farm. The guild says, oh, that sounds great. Go for it. And then because of the contracts and other things that have been involved, they couldn't then backtrack. And so they just had to let him make the movie the way he wanted to make the movie.
Well, then why?
It comes out and they're like, we've got to save ourselves.
Why promote it?
Doubling down on it.
And then why attack people on Twitter?
Yeah, that's the thing that makes that hard to believe.
Well, see, that's it. They're trying to save themselves. They're trying to save their reputation. No, we totally knew what this was. And it's not as bad as you guys think.
So you're like, we actually are secretly communist?
No, what I'm saying is they're trying to cover their
But that's not covering up. That's browbeating people. Like, when was it ever a successful strategy for any studio to attack people for criticizing your film or game or whatever?
Yeah,
really,
I mean,
they should have just come out and said, we made a mistake. You know that Hollywood and by extension film companies, they can't do that.
Well, they should have just been hands off. Why are they promoting it to right-wing people assuming that they would support it? This makes me think they didn't know until today.
That cannot be.
Why are they that stupid?
Listen. Yeah, well, yeah, if that is true, which is the most generous reading of the situation,
That's
right?
Very generous.
Very generous. If that were the case, if you are a paying like guild member, I would not be paying them anymore. These people are clearly fucking idiots. Like blatant drooling mongoloids. Or worse, scam artists. Like God damn. There's just any way you cut this, it's not great.
No,
it's bad.
Tim Pool claimed they offered him over 5 figures to promote the film, and that he was going to have a debate with somebody from Angel Studios, and they backed out from showing up on his show.
I wonder why.
And then you have Tucker Carlson. This is one of the greatest movies ever. It criticizes Marxism. You never saw the movie, you hack.
Well, he's too busy counting all his money from Qatar. All right, leave him alone.
You know what I mean?
He's too busy sucking off Muhammad. Okay.
Riley Gaines deleting her tweets because she's like, "Oh, I should have seen this film before promoting it." Like, look, this podcast has no financial support, and who knows? We might become mega shills. We're gonna do the promote everything.
Harmon Brothers
strategy.
Yeah, give me a call, baby. I will absolutely. You pay me 5 figures, I will promote the shit out of this movie. All right, I will lie through my fucking teeth.
Well, my only consolation is I will read your ad, but I reserve the right to dump on you and your company at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Same here.
But full disclosure is also like, if you want me to read the ad of this movie's amazing, we love this movie, and then 5 minutes after I'm gonna go, what a piece of shit film that was. If you're okay with that happening and you could just cut out my soundbite and pretend like I support it, then I guess. but I mean, it's funny. A lot of brands, a lot of podcasts and stuff rely not on the fact that they've cornered the market, but upon personalities and reputation. And a lot of those go away if you lose your reputation. Now, we don't really have enough of an audience to really count or matter when it comes to reputation. But if we did have an audience, they would be coming here because of our personalities and our reputation. If we start taking advantage of that, then we deserve to lose audience. We deserve to lose people listening to us. And why would it be shocking if people go, oh, you said this was going to be an amazing anti-communist film, and clearly you didn't see it, and I went and saw it, and it was embarrassing. Well, clearly I should take a hit for that, because I'm stupid.
Oh.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's a baffling bunch of choices. I mean, Angel Studios should have really, they should have had a spin-off distribution thing and made it public that, hey, this is our
the movie was, that
other
that's how
wing.
it should have happened.
Yeah. But, yeah, anyway.
Capcrew says, I need there to be a different ending. They saw and then passed off, and then it was switched. I mean, so they swindled Angel Studios and changed the ending after the fact, or they only show them the first 2/3 of the film.
Hey, you know what? If Angel Studios can prove that's funny. What happened, that might be the one way out of it.
Yeah. Andy Serkis swindled us. Everybody looked for... Imagine Andy Serkis now with a massive failure and massive hate going towards this film, and then he's going to be the director of Hunt for Gollum.
Oh, I bet Warner would be very happy.
By the way, I directed a movie that lost a lot of money.
A lot of money. Like, it's at box office right now is like 1 million, and I think it was made for like 30.
Yep.
So.
Oh, the word is out. This movie sucks. It's not the message that it was originally written by George Orwell.
All right. I looked something up, Brett.
Oh.
Because I was curious when the Hunt for Gollum was coming out. And apparently it's coming out in 2027. And I was trying to find a budget. There's nothing original, Rhett. There's a Hunt for Gollum fan film made in 2009. I didn't know that fucking existed. These people are hacks. They can't even come up with unused parts of fucking Lord of the Rings to use. God damn. Oh my god.
Was it Ride of the Rohirrim? Is one of the worst films I've ever seen.
Dude, and I wanted that to be good so bad.
Yeah.
And it should have been such an easy layup.
Yep. But it was mainly a way to keep the license.
Yes.
Yeah.
Boy, well, and we talk about it and look for our review on this channel. Boy, there's parts where you can tell too. They just had like $2 in a pack of chewing gum.
Yeah, literally the frame rate just starts to lower as people move like 5 frames a second.
Boy, they're really cutting down on the animation cells, huh? Jesus God.
Whenever poor Korean animator got really sleepy at this point.
Ran out of time, I guess. Well, whatever.
It was like what happened with that Spiral movie that they put on HBO.
Oh, yeah.
That horror anime. I watched it. The first episode is so creepy and so amazing. The second episode, it's like it was made by a guy that was cross-eyed.
Yeah, which is really sad because, like, that's based on what's his name? Junji Ito, right?
Yep. And his stuff is very creepy.
Very, very off-putting. And very famous for it. I mean, he's, like, well-known. Like, that's his thing. And, like, everything he does like that is really bad in, like, a horrifying way, right?
Yeah.
And it's really a bummer that they apparently blew their load on episode 1. I forgot about that, dude. I forgot that they did that.
I watched it because I was excited because I like Junji Ito stuff. And you get to episode 2 and you're like, oh no. Well, I think that's what's so funny about it. It's running out of time and funding. Because by the time you get to episode 2, you suddenly go, oh, the first episode is what we could have gotten. And the second episode is where they dropped the ball. Because the first one was really good.
Mm-hmm. At least Invincible, like, does it by season, you know?
Yeah. Did you
Start dropping frames as seasons go on.
Yeah. Do you know the meme that surrounds Junji Ito?
He's actually like a really pleasant man.
Yes, he's a very lovely person.
Like he's actually like very hopeful and nice and like
He's just a
bright.
very nice guy. And in fact, people have shown in the meme where it's like Junji Ito writing, and it's just like horror, despair, and then Junji Ito the person, and he's like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" sort of thing. And he thinks the memes are funny.
Dear God.
Because he is a friendly guy who writes really disturbing anime or a really disturbing manga.
Yeah. Meanwhile, over at Studio Ghibli, Miyazaki's like the most loathsome prick.
Yeah.
Miyazaki
does lovely, beautiful work, and he is a massive asshole. Who's dumped on his son repeatedly.
Yeah, just been a super dick to him for like no good reason.
No. He's that tortured artist sort of thing, Miyazaki. One of my favorite.
Jealous of cats.
Well, one of my favorite moments of Miyazaki is him sitting outside smoking a cigarette, and there was a cat laying on a table outside the studio, and he comments on the cat by turning to it, going, "This is what is it? The life of somebody that doesn't have a deadline."
My God!
Just the cat sleeping on the table. When he went to go see his son's movie, he said he's not an adult yet.
Oh my God, what a dick. God, he's such an asshole. What a fucking prick, dude. Jesus Christ. It's your company, Miyazaki. Like, what the fuck? Like, oh my God.
By the way, I really like his movies
recently.
Oh, they're great.
Which one?
Wizard of Earthsea. That's the one that Miyazaki's son made. That's
not the one he was commenting on. No. The one he was commenting on is it was the only 3D animated movie. It was like the Witch of something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not good. It's a mediocre kids movie. It's not amazing. But to be like, you are not an adult.
Earwig and the Witch.
Earwig and the Witch, that's the movie. He actually left before the movie was over and was standing out in the lobby smoking a cigarette.
Douche.
He's just an ass.
I do love that his son's name is Goro. That's a great name. It's a great Japanese name.
The Boy and the Heron's a really good movie, though.
Well,
I quite liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, Howl's Moving Castle.
Oh yeah, classic.
Well, why don't we news dump all over the place?
News dump online. This is the Distracted Gamers. Connecting now.
I've got a news dump.
News dumping.
I'm news dumping right now.
Out of the way.
So there was some drama recent. So everybody keeps commenting on how bad Xbox is. Let's talk about the drama with the PlayStation. Oh no, my border. Ross, weird things been happening in the PlayStation area.
So I've heard, but not much.
PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 owners have shared concerns regarding potential ownership of their games, following a recent update from Sony. As the endless debate of physical media versus digital downloads rages on, a huge concern surrounding the potential access to PlayStation owners' digital library has come up over the weekend. According to some users via Push Square, a new form of DRM has cropped up in some digital games to suggest that owned digital games will expire after a period of 30 days. Digging a little deeper, it seems that not every digital game is affected by this, and it seems to have been applied to different users' games at random. However, one thing that is consistent with the issue is that it seems to be affecting PS4 users who bought a game in the last few weeks and hasn't been replicated on the PS5. Hugely terrible DRM has now rolled out to all PS4 and PS5 digital games. Every digital game you buy now requires online check-in every 30 days. If you buy a digital game and don't connect your console to the internet for 30 days, your license will be removed. From programmer and modder Lance McDonald. Could a new form of PlayStation DRM be coming to consoles? The update seems to suggest that if you don't connect your PS4 console to the internet within 30-day period, you'll lose access to the digital game until you can reestablish connection. If you're worried that Sony is introducing some new kind of DRM to PlayStation consoles, the good news is that this is likely a bug. It doesn't seem that it is a bug and that we might actually be getting a new type of DRM. Where's my... So if we shift on to something more recent, Sony clarifies. Ongoing PlayStation DRM issue confirms digital games require a one-time online check to authenticate licenses, but players won't experience any issues beyond that. Sony has finally responded to the ongoing PlayStation license controversy, confirming that a constant internet connection won't be required to play digital games. Earlier this week, a new 30-day license check was spotted on digitally purchased PlayStation 5 and PS4 games, immediately raising concerns among users. This would apply only to digital games bought after the latest March system update and reportedly not impact previous purchases. People online, please be fake. Sony PlayStation fans panic as Sony seemingly introduces new DRM. Potential major DRM issue rolled out by PlayStation. All new PlayStation Network purchases now have a 30-day validation countdown. However, Sony has now addressed the issue at the same time, quelled worries by confirming that users only need to be connected to the internet and complete a one-time license authentication. Beyond that, no further checks will be required. I don't buy that. I think you probably had constant DRM checks, but you might have been pulling back on that because of the negativity. This seems like bull crap that Xbox would pull.
Well, yeah, and yeah. By the way, there's another aspect of Sony lately. Have you heard about what's going on in the UK?
PlayStation age verification system.
Yep. And it will not accept, like... Because here's the thing, right? Does Sony have any sort of problem history of leaking data? Surely not, right?
I got a free game because they leaked my data.
Oh. And the problem is, like, you can't, like, you still play your single player games, and that's it. You can't, like, access the store, like everything's ruined. And so longtime users are just like, well, it wasn't a problem before. And part of this problem is the UK's laws, but yeah, you're right. This does sound like something Xbox would have pulled, say, 10, 12 years ago.
Yep. Well, you do know how a lot of the drama has been going on in China, because they've been worried about constantly online and video game playing and stuff is ruining children. So they created this limitation where you can only be online for so many hours during the week, or I think it's even just the weekend, to prevent younger people from playing too much, which has actually created this weird black market of adults selling their time to children so that they can use their online so that they can access more.
Holy shit.
Which is a thing that's happening in China. It's pretty sweet. That is
delightful. I'd love to make some money off some dumb 13-year-old.
Well, and there is also a weird problem that there are a lot of young people that are homeless and without the ability to get work. Because if they violate certain things when it comes to how they conduct themselves, I guess, cheating certain things or violating stuff that the communist government doesn't approve of, that they can actually be ostracized from the digital system, which means that their faces, their fingerprints, and their ability to interact with things like digital currency digitally with banking and whatnot, they get cut off from. And so now you have people that have just been ostracized from Chinese society who are homeless because they can't interact with the rest of the world. And it's become a huge problem because you have parks just full of like teenagers and 20-year-olds that no longer can like hold bank accounts because they violated the Chinese government in some way.
Jesus.
No, it's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet, you guys.
Well, that won't lead to problems down the road, I'm sure.
It won't lead to problems down the road. Good Lord.
God damn.
Well, if you thought Xbox didn't have problems, let's talk about the current issues with Xbox. Apparently, player and revenue growth has not yet met our ambition. To clarify, Xbox earnings today, while we have made progress expanding the business and our margins, player revenue growth has not met our ambition. We know we have work to do to earn every player today and in the future because you lost a lot. For those who don't know, here are the reported earnings for the FY26 quarter 3 period. Hardware revenue is down 33%. People have just been abandoning buying new Xboxes.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ain't great.
Xbox content and service revenue down 5%. Gaming revenue down 7%. I think they've been looking at the numbers and being like, oh no, we're on fire.
Yeah. And they are. I mean, it's actively nosediving.
One user on our Xbox stated Xbox needs to bring back the appeal of Xbox consoles, which should be the priority point of the brand. Give us, again, reasons to invest in the platform. It's all about the games. You have crappy
It's
games.
all about them games.
No one wants to buy
Thank
your
God they're putting a
garbage.
Halo PlayStation.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Oh. Well, PlayStation will DRM that thing every 30 days.
Well, yeah, and apparently it sounds like that will be the only, that's going to be one of the last ones they send over to PlayStation. That and Gears, whatever.
Sony's withdrawing from releasing the PC.
Yeah, so it's like, well, enjoy it while it lasts, Sony fans, I guess.
Well, Ross, the big excitement, the huge anticipation, the movie everybody's looking forward to. The first Star Wars movie
Mortal Kombat?
since
Oh.
Rise of Skywalker is coming to theaters. That's right. Mandalorian and Grogu. Are we all hyped?
Oh, what a Star Wars name.
Oh yeah.
We all
looking
super
forward to it.
excited.
Well, I know I'm going to definitely
Already
be
don't
day
have my
one.
Oh my gosh, this Baby Yoda. He's so cute. Oh, I
Look,
don't think
it's
there's
Baby Yoda.
any hype for this film. The fact that we haven't had a Star Wars movie in how long now?
Yeah, what are we at? 7 years?
7,
Coming
8
up?
years, yeah.
7 this December.
So we're all really hyped for it. Projections show The Mandalorian and Grogu may see a smaller box office debut than Solo.
Oh my god. Which
Solo
is noted
lost
for being
money.
the most underperforming Star Wars film ever.
Yeah, the first Star Wars, I don't know if it's the only nowadays, but the first Star Wars movie to lose money.
God damn. Jesus.
Uh-huh. I mean, I as a lover of Star Wars and then a hater of Star Wars, I don't know where to go with this. Like, I have no interest. Like, I don't know who the Mandalorian Grogu is for. Like, I get that the Mandalorian became the hype show that everybody was interested in, and it sort of overshadowed anything that they were releasing beforehand. But like, season 3 was terrible.
Yeah, and season 2 is already not going great, is my
No.
understanding.
And it was the
3
weird
really
obsession
nailed
with
it all.
Grogu, the little baby Yoda character, and apparently they were trying to like merge the universes so that the Mandalorian universe ended up merging and crossing over with like the Ahsoka stuff and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, Dave Filoni's like a fucking hack.
Yeah.
And the sooner everybody else figures that out, the better it will be. But
The fact they put any
we're in
trust
for
that
another
man.
4 years of this shit for sure.
Yeah, and they should have never trusted that man. He doesn't know what he's doing.
No, and like, listen, I'm sorry, but the Clone Wars is gay.
Yeah.
Like, it just sucks. Like,
The Clone Wars
the
is
good
all
one-
homosexual.
It is. It's blatantly and obviously. Number one, it's ugly. I'm definitely not a fan of the Tartakovsky one that didn't get more. So it's not that I'm sour.
You want to hear some funny bit of news? So, do you remember the Acolyte on how lambasted it was and how criticized it was. And then it got canceled
Yeah.
before season 2. Something happened
Remember.
recently you might be shocked at. In a sudden turn of events, The Acolyte had a massive resurgence in trending. And people have been like, oh, suddenly everybody's rediscovering The Acolyte. It's trending on the internet. The Acolyte showing up as trending on Disney Plus and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah. You want to know why?
I don't know
You wanna
why.
know
People are
why?
making hate movies about it.
No. The Mall show came out, and there's only one episode, and it auto plays into The Acolyte after it's over.
Oh my god. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my god. What a dude.
So everybody's going to see the
Get our
the
numbers
Darth
up.
Maul show, and it's auto playing The Acolyte so much that it's trending.
Holy shit. I mean, it's like when Amazon had it auto, like anything you watched, it would then autoplay Rings of Power.
Yeah.
What fucking scumbags.
People
Jesus
were acting
God.
like shills for The Acolyte were acting like The Acolyte was being rediscovered and how everybody was wrong and look at it trending, and it had nothing to do with it. Everybody was like, it's auto playing after Mall is over.
Holy shit. That is amazing.
Did they bother to look how much of The Acolyte was being watched?
I don't know if that's data that they show
stop.
or anything, but that gave me a giggle.
That is delightful.
So I did a quick check, and so far, Solo is the only Star Wars movie still that has lost money.
Well, we
There's
don't
been
know with
some
Rise of
talk-
Skywalker.
Well, that's what I was going to get into. Apparently, Rise of Skywalker, people have said that it lost money, but other places have said no, it just didn't make a lot of money. One place posted like it made like 40 million, something like that. So, yeah, that
The
one
big
is still
debate is
questionable.
whether or not they're being honest about how much they spent.
Yeah.
Yeah. The movie made $1 billion, by the way.
You don't spend $1 billion to make 40 million, if that's true.
Right.
What a shocking thing.
And I would be shocked if that movie made money. It was a very expensive film.
With a ton of advertising.
Ton. The advertising budget alone, I wouldn't be surprised if it doubles.
I still remember how much they were pushing that movie on advertising, and I am someone who does not consume where most advertising is. So
Still haven't
Jesus.
seen it. So proud.
Nope. Yeah, and we're gonna keep it that way, I think.
Well, you debated, it's like, well, should we watch it? And I was like, the only excuse I would have with watching it is if we would create content out of it.
Yeah. So if we get 5,000 subscribers,
I will hate
tomorrow.
myself and then scream at the audience for making me watch Rise of Skywalker.
That's the only reason I would watch Hunt for Gollum.
I mean, I have a
Oh,
deep
there's
love of
something.
Star Wars, and the fact that I refuse to watch the last big movie that comes out will tell you how big my love affair fell apart.
Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah.
see this one.
She
Don't wanna see The
cheated
Rise
on
of
me with an ugly
Skywalker.
person, and I'll never forgive her.
Couldn't even be a hot guy. This is annoying.
Apparently
Oh,
cheated on
well,
us with David Filoni and
it's
is
not
what
like
we get.
Disney's made anything interesting in the past while anyway. Nobody trusts this stupid film.
No.
Projections are bad.
Bum 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 bum.
Let's move forward. The Michael movie did really well. Crossing 300 million. Number 2
Goddamn.
most musical biopic ever. I think they're predicting it's going to be the most successful musical biopic eventually. Look, there are mixed feelings about Michael Jackson. Let me change tactics. The person that made Finding Neverland was really upset and critical of this movie.
Shocking.
Okay.
I grew up with Michael Jackson. His movie's great, or
Yeah.
his music's great. It was on the radio all the time. as somebody who was around with Michael Jackson playing on the radio all the time, he was a big part of the culture. Like, we talk about big stars today. I mean, Taylor Swift isn't remotely as big as Michael Jackson was. Not even close. And I'm not even talking because I like Michael's music as opposed to Taylor Swift's. Michael Jackson was earth-shatteringly huge.
Yeah, everywhere he went.
Everywhere he went. Deal. Now, he had a weird life, an abusive father, all of these sorts of things. All of the accusations, and then people going back and being like, well, that didn't really happen and whatnot. I mean, if they make a second film, it would be negligent to not comment, or at least on the accusations. But the first movie ends before any of that stuff really comes up. So I don't know why.
Yeah.
What he's implying that they're just filleting Michael Jackson and well, we got to constantly talk about the kid diddling or whatever. And it's like, but there's ambiguity when it comes to the kid. Anyway.
Yeah. It's not like he went to prison for it.
No. So, but people convict him in the court of public opinion rather than the actual courts. So
yeah.
I'm not weighing in one way or the other. I'm just saying it's not really that big a deal that they didn't comment on it.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
it seems kind of stupid to comment on something that doesn't get brought up during the section of Michael Jackson's life that you're covering in your movie.
And it seems like your evidence better be pretty rock solid if you do start making accusations in a film like that.
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's on top of, but it's like if you're making a movie on a section of a person's life, and that section of their life doesn't include some scandal that they were in, then you bringing up the scandal seems like that's what's the word I'm looking for here?
Negligent.
That's irresponsible of you too.
Sure. I mean, that's like making a film about my life before I get married and then beat my android wife.
Yeah.
Before the android marriage.
Before the android marriage and the gross domestic violence.
Well, and I mean, this was a thing with Bohemian Rhapsody. People were complaining that it was like, whitewashing some of his life, and as far as the homosexuality and the partying lifestyle and all that, as well as it was also really favorable to the fucking band.
Well, the funny thing is Queen was more than just him.
Well, yeah, and and do you know why? Because they wanted to make money.
Uh-huh.
And it did. It made so much money.
Well, it's like if they made a movie about his sexual proclivities, then the movie would just be this giant, like, gay orgy party movie.
Yeah, and they've made that kind of movie. It was that Liberace movie. And it didn't do well.
And I know everybody likes him, but guess what? Queen is more than just the singer. And they also had, like, the movie, I thought the movie was pretty good. They talk about how they nearly split as a band, and he was becoming too much of a prima donna, and he kind of had to calm down. And they had this resurgence after that, because they hadn't, like, made anything in a while, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, he admitted, he was like, I was becoming kind of a problem or whatever. So, I mean, those are interesting nuances about the band. Because the movie is about Queen, not about him. If it's a movie about him, then sure, just gay orgies constantly. Just do that. Probably not be as successful because they, like Ross said, they want to earn money.
Yeah.
It's so weird that people want to do that when they make a product to sell. It's very strange.
It's really strange. Well, they didn't cater to the LGBTQ stuff. They made a movie that general audiences would like so that they would earn money. Because I know it's going to sound weird, but I like Queen the band. I'm not interested in watching a movie where Freddie Mercury constantly bums other dudes.
What do you mean? I know that
I
Behind the
agree with you
Candelabra movie is your favorite.
Behind the Candelabra, yeah.
Yeah, we get to watch Liberace bang Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Gay actor Michael Douglas.
Okay, actor Michael Douglas. Well, let's shift on. Oh yeah, the Ghost of Yote stuff. I put up and then I didn't. So Ghost of Yote is having a free add-on following the Tsushima DLC announcement. Ghost of Yote will be getting some free DLC next year, and it sounds pretty fantastic. Released earlier this month, it quickly became one of a lot of people's pick to win Game of the Year. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, PlayStation has already confirmed Ghost of Yote will be getting a Legends multiplayer mode next year, just as Tsushima did. This announcement came back in August, blah, blah, blah. No, nobody cares.
Oh.
They won't be getting a story DLC because I don't think anyone's interested. Here was the big part of the story that I wanted to bring up. As devastated as many of us were that Sucker Punch shifted away from Infamous, it did turn out for the best at Ghost of Tsushima and land in its stead. People are trying, let's see, jumping 600 years forward, let's see, they're trying to push for a crossover between character in Ghost of Tsushima and the character in Ghost of Yote, and no one is asking for that.
Oh.
It seems that we're getting a lot of stuff that we're not asking for.
Yeah. Or like what if those two characters met up? Isn't there like 600-year difference between the games?
No.
Yeah, but what if they met up and made out? No, she's a lesbian. Also, terrible character. There's been a huge push because of people upset with the merger with Paramount, and they're worried that CNN is going to go away. So there's a huge movement to try and save CNN from the WB merger with Paramount. They're worried about
guys,
CNN.
give it up. Give it a rest.
But CNN could go away, Jason. And the argument essentially comes down to it was basically, what is it, a monopoly because you're not going to have a counterpoint to Fox News if CNN goes away or whatever. And it's like, what about MSNBC?
Every other,
CBS,
what about every other news station?
And all the
So either they're saying that they recognize that all the media is basically skewed in one direction,
and they need
except
CNN.
for maybe, yeah.
I love this line, and that puts CNN, a longtime thorn in MAGA's paw, right at the center of this.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I think you're inflating the importance of CNN there. I don't know. To me, this is the situation where, look, if CNN is all that important, it will somehow find a way to survive. But if it goes away, then it wasn't all that important. And you are just inflating this to throw another wrench in this trend you're seeing of moving away from studio movies and into streaming and stuff, and you're trying to save yourselves rather than actually being honest about what, you know.
Well, maybe so, but a lot of people have traditionally gotten their news from CNN, and I can understand lamenting that either the news that they got is going to be changed or CNN will go away, and that they feel it's important CNN exists. It's just, I don't buy your argument. Nobody's stopping you from making another news organization. It's just the one you rely on. It might be taking a hit. So whatever. Anyway, moving on. I really like this story. A company in Brazil is making unsanctioned Mario caskets.
Hell yeah.
Woo!
Oh, man.
I will be buried in the Luigi one
right now.
Princess Peach.
Yoshi.
Depressing.
Well,
Anyway, it went viral on the
fine.
internet. Nintendo is being sued. Apparently, after the row with all of the tariffs and stuff, a bunch of companies were able to petition the government to get tariff refunds after a bunch of the tariffs have been removed. Well, people are now suing Nintendo saying, well, if you get tariff refunds, then how come we don't get refunds for you increasing the price of your products?
oh,
Because
that
of the
is different.
tariffs, which is not actually an incorrect thing to state, because other companies
Yeah.
have been giving refunds after they've been getting tariff refunds. But apparently Nintendo has been more tight-lipped on that.
No, I
mean-
wonder why.
Yeah, a lot of the Switch consoles have gone up $30, $40, $50. And people are suing Nintendo,
God.
being like, well, then you should kick that money back down our way. And Nintendo seems to want to
Yeah.
keep it. So look for a future
What
Nintendo
dicks.
lawsuit as people say, we want that money.
Gotta have that money.
In an interview with Variety, Stephen Colbert says that he made The Late Show more political after his producer told him that's the part the audience wants to see.
No, it
I
isn't.
doubt that.
That's not. That's why his ratings have been so bad, because they wanted
Yeah.
to watch it.
Yeah. Yep.
Jesus.
No, let's
So-
not make a show everybody likes. Make a show just for one political perspective. That'll get it.
So either
Just for the
he's
morons.
throwing somebody under the bus there.
Yeah. It wasn't my
Or-
idea.
Yeah. Or he really, really misread the situation.
Moving on, James Gunn has confirmed that The Authority is on hold at DC.
Good. That shouldn't
God.
have even been considered.
You can't even make a good Superman movie. What makes you think you can pull off The Authority?
Yeah.
We
But
all
it's
think that
quirky and
Supergirl's
different.
going to be terrible. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Well, that was always the argument at the get-go. Just make a good Superman movie. And if you do that, make a good Batman movie. And if you can do that, make Wonder Woman. Stop trying to get 40 steps down the road and being like, this is our plan for the super mega universe where we've got 40 bajillion films. It's you made Creature Commandos and everybody hated it. You said the greatest thing your favorite thing you ever did was the that stupid John Cena superhero show, and everyone
Oh, yeah.
hated it. It had full frontal nudity in it. How is this a movie for kids? Your argument that show was so vital for the DC lore that's why Superman left theaters early, so that it could coincide with you seeing this show on HBO that children can't watch? What a hack.
What do you mean? No, he made Guardians of the Galaxy that one time.
Yeah. Well, he's good at making
It's
quirky
almost-
ensemble movies. That's all he can do.
I was going to say, it's almost like he found lightning in a bottle there, and after that, couldn't quite recreate his success at all. So
Peacemaker is a show I was thinking of.
Oh, yeah.
It's really
Peacemaker.
bad.
Oh.
Daredevil Born Again Season 2 viewership has dropped over 50% from Season 1.
Oof.
Yep, it's really bad.
It's no good.
Apparently, the failing video game store GameStop is trying to buy eBay.
What?
Yep.
Yeah, I was really confused when I saw that too.
Everybody went, excuse me?
I just clinging on to any other raft, I guess.
I mean, expanding into something like the online platform, trading stuff back and forth is not a horrible plan for GameStop.
Well, you know what I've heard
What?
is that one thing that eBay owns is like this trading card marketplace. I forget what it's called.
And people buy
I'm not into
Pokemon at
trading
GameStop.
cards. Yep. And so they want that. What they really want is that, not necessarily eBay.
They have, if you don't consume frequent eBay very much, they have streams that they do of people on the app opening cards.
On eBay?
Yeah.
Really?
What the what the fuck?
Yeah, I keep getting notifications somebody's stream has started on eBay, and I was like, what?
I know what's going on.
Go away. I'm not interested.
What a weird thing.
Yeah. Everything's got to be TikTok or whatever. Well, Rosh.
Yeah, well, yeah.
In a confusing turn of events, Bungie's communications director said some things about how, oh no, they missed Trump again, sort of thing.
Oh, God.
And then they're like, well, freedom of speech. And it's like, he's your communications director, which apparently also resulted in him blocking people that disagree with him, even though his job is to communicate with people about Bungie and their games.
Man. You know, I've been replaying Halo because my girlfriend's never seen it. She doesn't know anything about Halo. She's like, well, you can play it and I'll watch. Oh, okay, man, I'd love to replay some Halo. So I've replayed the first one already. And my God, those games are so good.
Yeah.
There's as the games will go on, like there's so many references to things that you could not even reference today. Like no company would make those references because they'd be considered too right wing. I mean, everything referenced in those games, like especially when it comes to the Covenant and the Forerunners, it's all biblical references or religious references of some kind.
Yeah.
That would never, anyway. Sorry, it just would never happen.
In other news,
God, those games were good.
The composer is running for Congress as a conservative MAGA guy.
Yep, Marty O'Donnell in Nevada. So if you're in his district, vote for him because he rocks. Jesus.
Anyway, look forward to Halo music playing at his inauguration. No, it's copyright.
He definitely won't be sued by Microsoft.
So this is a story I avoided last week, even though it happened just before the podcast, like the day before, because all of the information didn't come out, and we're not we're not really a political podcast at all, but I am cursed with having to talk about politics because it crosses over in popular culture all the stinking time, and I'm sick of it. I just want to watch a movie and tell you if it sucks or not. I want to play a game and be like, this game sucks or not. But politics is everywhere, and it infests me, and it vexes me sorely. So, somebody tried to shoot at Trump. Setting aside that drama, it's bad to kill people you disagree with. Where this kind of blew up as a drama is, once again, how people reacted. So I'm going to apologize to the Bungie guy. He's been blocking people who are conservative. I apologize. Is this guy who said missed again? The guy who works, one of the writers for Marvel and DC Comics, Dennis Camp. So I apologize I got that information incorrect.
How dare you?
I was mixing stories about bad takes on the internet. But if you're the Bungie communication director, why are you blocking people? You need to communicate with them. Regardless, one of the writers said missed again, which is a horrible take when it comes to politics, which should tell you how goofy and political and vitriolic a lot of people have gotten and then feel open advocating for political violence. Where this becomes more of a bigger, stupid incident is, well, we had Jimmy Kimmel make a fake White House Correspondents' Dinner thing just before it happened, joking about how Melania Trump was going to be a future widow. And then Trump had an assassination attempt. And then he got on, and instead of apologizing about the rhetoric or, normalizing this sort of political violence, he simply said, well, it was a joke. You know I didn't mean it. Which was Jimmy Kimmel's response.
People.
Oh, God.
I'm tired of these people going, oh, it's just a joke. I'm just joking, people. No, I'm tired of that. You don't get to have a cop out like that. Own your stupid mistake. Take it back. Say, I'm sorry. That came off as incredibly insensitive. I abhor violence, and I want everyone to understand that this is not the way to conduct themselves.
Well, this also opens
We need to stop allowing these people to just say, oh, it was just a joke, or I wasn't serious.
Well, this also opens up the, hey, let's cancel Jimmy Kimmel again as Trump goes after Jimmy Kimmel for the... look, it's a joke, a bad taste joke, but a joke that honestly wasn't even very funny. But it once again, it's Trump like Jimmy Kimmel should be fired. And then suddenly people are decrying censorship and the government trying to shut up people who disagree with them. And like, it's not a classy joke or whatever. Like, talk about if he's stupid or makes bad decisions or his stupid politics. Why do jokes need to be about, well, future widow? And it's like, what? Okay. All right, Jimmy.
Yeah, you can even shit on the guy, but Jesus.
Yeah,
I mean,
just
this guy has had assassination attempts before.
Get a fake Trump head and take a dump on it. But the fact that he hasn't been attempted to be murdered, like Ross said, hasn't happened, which puts that joke into a weird, gross sort of context, which implies almost like you're advocating for it. Well, it was a joke, and it's like, well, normalizing the fact that it's okay to kill people I disagree with shouldn't be something that's fine. It's just, I don't know how to make this. Look, Jimmy Kimmel's show's bad. He's not funny. No one watches these shows anymore. There's a reason why Colbert is being canceled. We had this huge conversation about this when this happened initially the first time. And now it's like, well, Jimmy Kimmel's once again making tasteless jokes about the president dying. And it's like, well, freedom of speech. And it's like, I guess freedom of speech, but there's a difference between freedom of speech and then you represent the studio you work for, and they don't have an obligation to put your bad and tasteless jokes on the air. And they have every right to do so. That doesn't mean they should, and that it reflects well on them, and that it's funny in any way. I haven't ever advocated for anybody to die, even though I dislike a lot of people, and I think the world would be a better place if they weren't there, because it's gross. You don't do that.
Yeah, not very appropriate.
Well, it's just like we talked about Jimmy Kimmel. I don't care about this idiot. Gotta bring him up again because he's saying something stupid. Because another massive cultural event happened. There was an attempted assassination. I guess we have to bring it up again. Look forward in the future where somehow Xbox becomes related to the next assassination attempt, and we have to talk about that. Xbox sales have been assassinated. Oh.
No.
Oh, no. Make good games.
Hey, Rhett.
What's that?
I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
Have you heard about The Onion buying InfoWars?
I have, yeah.
Have you seen what they're doing with the InfoWars name?
No.
Oh, it sucks, dude.
Well, so
it's really bad.
I'm not a big InfoWars fan at all.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the Onion realizes that InfoWars, it's not the brand, it's the guy. That's why people watched it.
Yeah, so
simply buying InfoWars has no value because no one's going to follow you over.
Yeah, and like their whole point is to like then make it satirical, which whatever, I guess. I mean, it just all feels very petty. Yeah. But the funny thing is they have Tim Heidecker, famed like Adult Swim, Cartoon Network guy,
yeah,
on there because he has a really good impression of Alex Jones. Like it is uncanny. He's very
I haven't
good.
seen that. That's probably pretty funny. I like Tim Heidecker.
Well,
Their comedy tends to mostly be quirky and weird.
no, it sucks. He fucking sucks. Tim Heidecker is immensely unfunny as Alex Jones.
Oh, as Alex Jones?
It
Well, I'm talking
blows.
about the Tim and Eric show.
Sure, no, but I'm telling you, the thing he does for InfoWars
It's
under
terrible.
the Onion sucks. It's
Okay.
bad. He just does the
I'm here for good satire about Alex Jones, but if it's just bad.
well, they have him like drinking like blood and like talking about like praising Satan. That's
He
not good.
notoriously screams about Satanists and hating Satanists.
Yeah.
and in
Yeah, so it's almost like it
irrational
comes off like
conspiracy
really petty.
theory way. Yeah.
Yeah, it comes off just very petty and trying to like, well, we're going to talk about you in a way that you're going to hate. And it's like, that's immensely unfunny.
Like Alex Jones is they're eating babies at the Bilderberg meetings with the Hillary Clinton and they're drinking the blood of
I'm
the
tired of these vampires.
Yeah, like he's not the I'm a Satanist. He's like Satanists are infecting the government and it's like, oh, really, Alex? Like lean into that silliness because if you do it right, you won't be able to tell it's parody because Alex Jones is insane.
Yes, and they didn't, and because they're more
there's a
petty
theoretical
than that.
world where you could make a funny Alex Jones parody show,
Oh yeah,
but
people do it all the time.
apparently they didn't. You know what's? Here's a funny thing you could do. You could present it as a parody show and just read off insane things Alex Jones has said.
Yeah,
Like just read actual things he said. People think it's parody, but you're just reading the insanity.
Mhm.
Just him screaming and ripping his shirt off on air.
Well, and the funny thing is he's released a video of him just walking around in a grocery store with just music playing, and it's gotten like a ton of attention. And it's like he's effortlessly funnier than Tim Heidecker,
Alex
which
Jones.
is
Yeah. His
baffling.
insanity is more entertaining.
like Jesus God. Well, him walking around a store with a smug face. Like, my God.
They're making the frogs gay.
Turning the frickin' frogs gay.
The chemicals in the water.
Oh my God.
He claimed that the Charleston thing was a psyop from the SPLC, and then you find out that it kind of was, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah, like Charlottesville was actually a bunch of bullshit, and it's like, oh no, he might have been right. Uh-oh.
Well, you hear that from Alex Jones, and you're like, nonsense. And then you hear like, oh, they're prosecuting the SPLC for perhaps funding the Charlottesville fiasco, and you're like, oh no. Is Alex Jones right about gay frogs?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, because there is a thing with frogs where they are having problems, like sexually, like reproducing, because they can change genders or whatever.
Also, they're very susceptible to radiation, which causes mutations.
Yes.
Like they're easily susceptible to radiation. So if there's weird proclivities
any change in the
environment, yeah, it can make them goofy.
So it's like, well, maybe. I mean, probably not for that reason. Like, it's probably just more like happenstance.
Maybe a
but also,
chemical
like,
spill
not...
caused frogs to mate with other male frogs. I don't know. But his conspiracy is they're deliberately
mosquito
making
spraying.
gay frogs, like somehow that
Yeah.
that damages traditional straight sexuality in some way. It's like, why would researchers care if frogs are gay?
Turn the frickin' frogs gay because they're going to do it to us next, right?
Well,
I'm
gay
sure that's
also
what he'd
implies
say.
romance in some way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna woo that frog. Alec Jones is hilarious, ridiculous stupidity, and he's a special part of the internet, a very special part of it.
Yep. Very special.
You could make a funny parody show, but they seem to be failing on that.
Yeah. I mean, not that shocking. I guess a little shocking.
Well, they just don't understand why he's funny, and like I said, just have him read actual things Alex Jones said, and it would be just the funniest thing.
Yeah. Like it'd be really. He's like, well, it didn't. Isn't it Norm Macdonald that said, in order to be really good at an impression of somebody, you
have to sympathize.
have to
in
like
some way.
at least like them a little bit. Yeah, and it's like, well, clearly they don't. So
you know who said that? Russell Crowe when he did the Nuremberg movie.
Oh, okay.
With who is it he played? Herman Goering.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing, so I have seen the Nuremberg movie. I liked it. There's some historical inaccuracies, but it's funny. You hear from some people before the movie came out, and they were very worried. They're like, well, I hope they don't make him a sympathetic character and stuff. And it's like, I hope they do. See, the biggest problem when it comes to historical films, especially with hyperbolized, horrible regimes that might have existed in the 1930s with the mysterious mustache man that was in charge. Goering, they were, the weird part is we exaggerate these personalities into caricatures. And that's a mistake because you need to understand that they were people and that people are capable of these sorts of things. Yeah. And humanizing them helps you understand that. See, that's the secret of evil, is we all have the capacity within us to do evil. It's just understanding the darkness that resides in the human character, being able to surpass that and be a better person. They weren't monsters; they were men who did monstrous things, and turning them into characters makes it sound like they were abnormal. And human beings have been murdering each other for their entire existence. We are capable of terrible things. Yeah, and so Russell Crowe said he wanted to understand the guy and sympathize with him, and he cared about his children, and he was a father figure and that sort of thing. And he found the humanity through that, and then also found the strict, harsh person that would do those sorts of things. That makes a more nuanced character. That's helped you understand the horror of the types of things that they would do. But pretending like they weren't real people or exaggerating them into some farcical nonsense is not the best way to go about making a film like that. And I thought he did a really good job as Goering. Anyway, my short review of Nuremberg.
Give it a watch, folks.
Give it a watch. It's all right. It's been a special podcast. Very busy. Lots of big drama. Lots of big drama to go over. Hopefully Silver avoids puking anytime soon.
Too late.
Special little girl.
Especially if that city wants to ever recover.
Or whatever. Fine, I don't care. I hung out with her yesterday and I was like, am I going to get mega sick? If you get me sick, I'm going to be so pissed off.
You're going to get it.
I'm going to be so friggin' angry. Regardless, it's time we got out of here. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. It's been the DG Podcast. Like, comment, subscribe, or you are gay. You are gay. Bye.
Why are you gay?
If you like the show, follow Rhett, Jason, Ross, and Silver, the world's most lethally stupid internet personalities, on Twitter at DG Podcast or on Instagram at Distracted Gamers. If you liked or hated what you heard here today, you can email them at thedistractedgamers@gmail.com and share your feelings. Not that Jason would care, since he hasn't any, of course.